Emperor Elagabalus, originally named Sextus Varius Avitus Bassianus, ruled the Roman Empire from 218 to 222 AD. His reign was short-lived but impactful. It was marked by extravagance, religious upheaval, and a blatant disregard for Roman traditions. This combination of factors makes Elagabalus one of the most controversial figures in Roman history. His story is a cautionary tale of ambition, religious fervor, and the dangers of alienating the ruling class. Elagabalus's reign, though brief, provides a fascinating window into the complexities of the Roman Empire. It reveals the fragility of power and the importance of tradition in maintaining stability. His story continues to fascinate historians and offers valuable insights into the social, political, and religious dynamics of the Roman world. Elagabalus's impact on Roman society was significant despite the brevity of his reign. His actions sent shockwaves through the empire, challenging deeply held beliefs and customs. While his reign ultimately ended in his assassination, his story continues to resonate centuries later, reminding us of the enduring power of tradition and the consequences of challenging the established order. Elagabalus was born in 204 AD in Emesa, Syria. His family held significant influence due to their priesthood of the sun god Elagabal. He participated in religious ceremonies, eventually becoming high priest. His mother, Julia Soaemias, was connected to the Severan dynasty. Julia Maesa, his grandmother, used her influence to support his rise. His devotion to Elagabal shaped his reign and led to his downfall. The Roman Empire in the early 3rd century AD was a period of political instability. The Severan dynasty, which had ruled with a firm hand for several decades, was facing internal strife and external threats. In 217 AD, Emperor Caracalla, the last surviving son of Septimius Severus, was assassinated by his praetorian prefect, Macrinus. This assassination created a power vacuum in Rome. Macrinus, lacking legitimacy and facing opposition from the Severan loyalists, attempted to consolidate his power. However, his efforts were undermined by Julia Maesa, who had fled to Syria with her daughters and grandson Elagabalus. Julia Maesa, a shrewd political operator, saw an opportunity to restore her family's fortunes by placing her grandson on the Roman throne. Exploiting the unrest and discontent within the Roman army, Julia Maesa used her vast wealth to bribe and persuade the legions stationed in Syria to support Elagabalus's claim to the throne. The soldiers, enticed by promises of higher pay and driven by their loyalty to the Severan dynasty, rallied behind the young Elagabalus. They proclaimed him emperor in May 218 AD. Elagabalus, at just 14 years old, found himself thrust into the center of a power struggle that would determine the fate of the Roman Empire. Upon ascending to the throne, Elagabalus wasted no time in implementing his ambitious religious reforms. He aimed to elevate the status of his patron deity, Elagabal, to the forefront of the Roman pantheon. This decision, driven by his personal piety and a desire to promote his ancestral god, would prove to be highly controversial. It ultimately alienated the Roman Senate and the people of Rome. Elagabalus ordered the construction of a grand temple in Rome dedicated to Elagabal. This temple, known as the Elegabalium, was lavishly decorated with gold, silver, and precious stones. It housed the sacred black stone that represented the deity. The emperor presided over elaborate rituals and sacrifices in honor of Elagabal, often incorporating elements of Syrian religious practices that were unfamiliar and unsettling to the Roman populace. He introduced new religious festivals and processions, some of which involved elaborate costumes, music, and dances that were considered scandalous by Roman standards. Elagabalus's insistence on prioritizing Elagabal over Jupiter, the traditional king of the Roman gods, was met with resistance and dismay. This move was seen as a direct affront to Roman religious sensibilities and further fueled the opposition to his rule. Elagabalus's reign was marked by scandals and excesses that shocked Roman society. Known for his flamboyant personality, he indulged in lavish banquets and exotic entertainments. He surrounded himself with courtiers, dancers, and musicians. His behavior included alleged affairs and marrying a Vestal virgin. His actions eroded the respect and authority expected of Roman emperors. As Elagabalus's reign progressed, his behavior and policies alienated a growing number of powerful individuals and groups within Roman society. The Senate, the traditional seat of power in Roman politics, viewed the emperor's actions with increasing alarm and disdain. They resented his disregard for their authority and his elevation of Syrian religious practices over traditional Roman beliefs. The Roman people, accustomed to a certain level of decorum and tradition from their rulers, were shocked and appalled by Elagabalus's behavior. His excesses, his religious reforms, and his disregard for Roman customs created a sense of unease and resentment among the populace. This dissatisfaction created fertile ground for opposition to his rule to take root and grow. Even within the Praetorian Guard, the emperor's personal bodyguard and a powerful force in Roman politics, discontent began to simmer. The soldiers, initially supportive of Elagabalus due to Julia Maesa's bribes and promises, grew weary of his erratic behavior and his perceived weakness as a ruler. This shift in loyalty within the Praetorian Guard would prove fatal for Elagabalus. The final act of Elagabalus's reign was swift and brutal. In 222 CE, after 4 years on the throne, Elagabalus's excesses proved too much. His grandmother, Julia Maesa, orchestrated a conspiracy. She turned the Praetorian Guard against him. On March 11th, 222 CE, they stormed the palace. Elagabalus and his mother were captured and killed. Their bodies were thrown into the Tiber River. The assassination of Elagabalus marked the end of a tumultuous and controversial chapter in Roman history. His reign, though brief, left a lasting impact on the empire. It served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, religious extremism, and the importance of maintaining traditional Roman values. The Senate, eager to erase the memory of Elagabalus's unorthodox and scandalous reign, condemned him to damnatio memoria. This ancient Roman practice involved systematically erasing all traces of a condemned individual from public records and monuments. Elagabalus's name was chiseled off inscriptions, his statues were torn down, and his edicts and decrees were revoked. The Senate hoped that by condemning his memory they could restore a sense of order and tradition to the Roman world. Alexander Severus, Elagabalus's cousin, was proclaimed emperor by the Praetorian Guard and ratified by the Senate. He was tasked with restoring stability and legitimacy to the empire following the turmoil of Elagabalus's reign. Alexander Severus's reign marked a return to more traditional Roman values, a direct response to the excesses and controversies that had defined his predecessor's time in power. Despite the Senate's attempts to erase his memory, Elagabalus's reign continues to fascinate and intrigue historians today. His story serves as a reminder of the diversity of experiences and perspectives that shaped the Roman Empire. It challenges us to look beyond the traditional narratives of Roman history and consider the complexities of power, religion, and identity in the ancient world. Elagabalus's reign, though often condemned for its excesses, can also be seen as a period of cultural exchange and experimentation. His introduction of Syrian religious practices to Rome, however controversial, reflects the empire's increasing multiculturalism in the 3rd century AD. His story highlights the challenges of integrating diverse beliefs and practices into a traditionally conservative society. While Elagabalus's reign may not be remembered for its political accomplishments or military victories, it serves as a valuable case study for understanding the dynamics of power, the role of religion in society, and the consequences of challenging traditional norms. His story continues to spark debate and discussion, ensuring that even in death, Elagabalus remains a figure of enduring historical significance.